Have you ever wondered how an ordinary person can become a hero? How can a shy young girl transform into a courageous queen and save her entire people? The story of Esther is a fascinating journey of faith, courage, and divine intervention. It's a narrative that resonates deeply with anyone who has faced insurmountable challenges and found strength in unexpected places. Today we'll delve into the epic journey of Esther, a hidden heroine whose actions changed the course of history. Esther's journey from a shy girl to a courageous queen is nothing short of remarkable. Alongside Ruth, Esther stands out as one of the only two books in the Bible named after women, and uniquely, it never directly mentions the name of God. This fact alone adds a layer of intrigue and mystery to her story, emphasizing how divine providence works behind the scenes. Esther's tale unfolds during a time when Jews lived among non-believers, and her courage and faith became pivotal in preserving her people. Growing up as an orphan, Esther was raised by her cousin Mordecai, who instilled in her strong values and deep faith. Despite her humble beginnings, Esther's beauty and grace caught the attention of those around her. Her life took an unexpected turn when she was taken to the palace as a candidate to become queen. This moment marked the beginning of a divine plan, showcasing how ordinary people can be part of extraordinary events through faith and trust in God's timing. Esther's transformation into a queen wasn't just about physical beauty. It was about inner strength and wisdom. She navigated the complexities of palace life with a quiet determination, never revealing her Jewish heritage as advised by Mordecai. This strategic concealment highlights her intelligence and foresight, qualities that would later prove crucial. Her ability to adapt to her new environment without losing her identity underscores a profound lesson in resilience and adaptability. The cultural and societal challenges Esther faced were immense. Living in a foreign land and becoming part of a royal harem required her to balance her personal beliefs with her new role. Yet, through all these changes, Esther remained steadfast in her faith, exemplifying the biblical story of trust in divine guidance. Her journey illustrates the power of faith and courage in overcoming life's adversities and stepping into one's destiny. Esther's story is a beacon of hope and inspiration, particularly for those who feel insignificant or powerless. It reminds us that divine revelation and intervention often come in unexpected ways and through unlikely individuals. Her rise from obscurity to a position of influence exemplifies the biblical mysteries of God's plans, where the last shall be first and the humble are exalted. This narrative is a powerful testament to the impact one individual can have when they embrace their divine calling. In Esther's life, we see a perfect blend of humility and heroism. She didn't seek power for its own sake, but used her position to serve and protect her people. This aspect of her character teaches us about the importance of using our gifts and opportunities for the greater good. Esther's story is a profound lesson in the wisdom of selflessness and the courage to stand up for what is right, even at great personal risk. Esther's transformation is also a story of hidden strength. Initially seen as a timid and compliant young woman, she revealed an inner fortitude that was both surprising and inspiring. Her story challenges us to look beyond outward appearances and recognize the potential within ourselves and others. The biblical account of Esther encourages us to trust in God's wisdom, knowing that He equips us with the strength we need for the tasks He sets before us. The narrative of Esther is also a call to action for believers. It demonstrates that faith is not passive, but requires bold and decisive action. When faced with the threat to her people, Esther didn't hesitate to risk her life by approaching the king unsummoned. This act of bravery underscores the biblical principle that true faith is accompanied by courageous deeds. Esther's example inspires us to act with conviction and trust in divine support, even when the odds seem insurmountable. In reflecting on Esther's journey, we are reminded of the importance of community and mentorship. Mordecai's role in guiding and supporting Esther highlights the value of having wise and godly mentors. His encouragement and wisdom were instrumental in her development and success. This aspect of the story underscores the biblical wisdom of seeking and heeding wise counsel in our own lives. Esther's epic journey from a shy girl to a courageous queen is a testament to the power of faith, wisdom, and divine providence. Her story continues to inspire and teach us about the transformative power of courage and trust in God. As we delve deeper into her life, we uncover timeless lessons that resonate with our own experiences, encouraging us to embrace our unique paths with faith and courage. But Esther's story doesn't stop here. What followed her rise to royalty is a tale of grandeur, betrayal, and unparalleled bravery. How did a lavish banquet lead to the downfall of Queen Vashti and set the stage for Esther's ascension? What sinister plots threatened the very existence of her people, and how did Esther muster the courage to confront these dangers head-on? Stay with us as we unravel the captivating events that defined Esther's reign and the salvation of her people. The story of Esther begins with an opulent feast hosted by King Xerxes, also known as Ahasuerus. This lavish banquet was a showcase of the king's wealth and power, attended by nobles and dignitaries from across the empire. The grandeur of the event set the stage for a series of dramatic events that would alter the course of history. Amidst the revelry and indulgence, the king made a fateful decision that would lead to Queen Vashti's downfall and pave the way for Esther's rise. During the banquet, King Xerxes, in a display of his authority, commanded Queen Vashti to appear before his guests and display her beauty. Vashti's refusal to comply with the king's command was a bold and unprecedented act of defiance. Her decision not to be paraded before the king's inebriated guests was a stance of dignity and self-respect. However, this act of defiance had severe consequences as it challenged the king's authority and societal norms of the time. Queen Vashti's refusal caused an uproar among the king's advisors and courtiers. They feared that her disobedience would set a dangerous precedent, encouraging other women in the kingdom to defy their husbands. To reassert his control and prevent potential rebellion, King Xerxes consulted with his advisors, who recommended that Vashti be deposed. This decision underscored the rigid gender dynamics and the importance placed on male authority in the kingdom. Vashti's removal as queen left a power vacuum in the royal court, and the search for a new queen began. This pivotal moment set the stage for Esther's introduction to the palace. The king's decree to gather beautiful young women from across the empire for a royal beauty contest highlighted the objectification and commodification of women in that era. Yet, it was within this context that Esther's divine destiny began to unfold. Esther's entrance into the palace was marked by a series of providential events. Despite the competitive and often harsh environment of the royal harem, Esther's inner beauty, humility, and grace distinguished her from the other candidates. Her journey from an orphaned Jewish girl to a favored candidate for queen was nothing short of miraculous, showcasing the unseen hand of divine guidance at work. Mordecai, Esther's cousin and guardian, played a crucial role during this time. His wise counsel and protective nature ensured that Esther navigated the complexities of the palace with discernment. Mordecai advised Esther to keep her Jewish identity a secret, a strategy that would later prove vital. This decision underscored the precarious position of the Jewish people in a foreign land and highlighted the theme of hidden identity and divine timing. As Esther progressed through the beauty treatments and preparations, she found favor with Hegai, the custodian of the women. Hegai's favor towards Esther can be seen as another instance of divine intervention, ensuring that she received the best care and preparation. This favor was a key factor in Esther's eventual selection as queen, demonstrating how God's providence can manifest through the favor of others. The lavish banquet that led to Vashti's fall also served as a backdrop for Esther's rise. The contrast between Vashti's defiance and Esther's humility is stark, yet both women exhibited strength in different ways. Vashti's refusal to be objectified and Esther's quiet resilience and adaptability highlight the diverse expressions of courage and dignity. This narrative invites us to reflect on the complexities of power, identity, and divine purpose. King Xerxes' final decision to make Esther queen was influenced by her exceptional beauty and demeanor. However, it was Esther's inner qualities, her wisdom, courage, and faith, that would later define her reign. Her ascent to the throne was not merely a result of external beauty, but a testament to her character and the fulfillment of a divine plan. Esther's story reminds us that true leadership is rooted in integrity and purpose. Esther's ascent to royalty was not just a personal triumph, but a significant turning point for the Jewish people. With her position as queen, the stage was set for a dramatic confrontation between good and evil. Esther's courage and wisdom would soon be tested like never before. Raised by her cousin Mordecai after the death of her parents, Esther grew up in humble circumstances. Mordecai's guidance and wisdom were pivotal in shaping her character, instilling in her the values of faith, trust, and wisdom. Despite her modest beginnings, Esther's inner beauty and grace set her apart, preparing her for a destiny she could never have imagined. When King Xerxes issued a decree to find a new queen, young women from across the empire were brought to the palace. Esther was among them, and her journey into the royal court began. The rigorous beauty treatments and preparations were daunting, but Esther approached them with humility and resilience. Her ability to adapt to this new, intimidating environment was a testament to her strength and faith. She trusted in the divine plan, even when the path ahead was unclear. Mordecai's advice to Esther to keep her Jewish identity a secret was a strategic move that would later prove crucial. This concealment of her heritage underscores the precarious position of the Jewish people in Persia and the wisdom in Mordecai's counsel. Esther's obedience to this advice highlights her respect for Mordecai's wisdom and her ability to navigate the complexities of palace politics with discernment. Her hidden identity would become a key element in the unfolding of her divine purpose. As Esther progressed through the beauty treatments, she found favor with Hegai, the custodian of the women. This favor was not coincidental, but can be seen as an instance of divine intervention, ensuring that Esther received the best care and preparation. Hegai provided Esther with the best treatments, special food, and 7 maidservants from the king's palace. His favor played a significant role in Esther's successful transition from a commoner to a queen candidate. Esther's humility and grace won her favor not just with Hegai, but with everyone who saw her. These qualities distinguished her from the other candidates, reflecting her inner beauty and integrity. When the time came for Esther to be presented to King Xerxes, she requested nothing beyond what Hegai suggested. This decision further demonstrated her trust in divine guidance and her humility, setting her apart in a palace filled with ambition and competition. King Xerxes was captivated by Esther's beauty and demeanor, and she found favor in his eyes above all the other women. He placed the royal crown on her head and made her queen in place of Vashti. Esther's ascension to the throne was not just a result of her external beauty, but also her character and the fulfillment of a divine plan. Her rise to power was a testament to the biblical story of trust and divine providence. Mordecai continued to play a significant role in Esther's life, even after she became queen. His presence in the royal court and his ongoing guidance were crucial in helping Esther navigate her new role. Mordecai's wisdom and insight were instrumental in ensuring Esther's success and the protection of the Jewish people. His unwavering support and strategic thinking exemplified the importance of having wise and godly mentors. Esther's ability to balance her new royal duties with her hidden Jewish identity required immense wisdom and discernment. She managed to maintain her faith and values while fulfilling her responsibilities as queen. This delicate balance underscores the complexity of her position and the divine wisdom that guided her actions. Esther's story is a powerful reminder of the importance of staying true to one's faith and values, even in the face of immense pressure and responsibility. Esther's rise to power was not just a personal achievement, but a pivotal moment for her people. Her position as queen would soon become the key to their survival. The stage was set for a dramatic confrontation between good and evil, and Esther's courage and wisdom would be tested like never before. Her story is a profound example of how divine providence can elevate and use individuals to fulfill a greater purpose. As we move forward, we will delve into the threats that emerged against the Jewish people and the pivotal role Esther played in thwarting these dangers. How did a hidden plot against her people come to light, and what actions did Esther take to protect them? Stay with us as we continue to uncover the epic journey of Esther and the divine revelations that guided her path. As Esther settled into her role as queen, a sinister plot began to take shape within the royal court. Haman, a high-ranking official in the kingdom, harbored a deep-seated grudge against Mordecai, Esther's cousin. This animosity stemmed from Mordecai's refusal to bow down to Haman, an act of defiance that enraged the proud official. Haman's anger quickly escalated into a desire for revenge, not just against Mordecai, but against all the Jews in the empire. Haman's plot to exterminate the Jews was both cunning and ruthless. Using his influence over King Xerxes, Haman persuaded the king to issue a decree that would authorize the massacre of all Jews in a single day. Haman presented his plan as a means to eliminate a threat to the stability of the kingdom, claiming that the Jews' distinct customs and refusal to assimilate posed a danger. The king, unaware of the true implications, agreed to Haman's proposal and issued the deadly decree. The decree sent shockwaves through the Jewish community. The prospect of annihilation hung over them like a dark cloud, filling them with fear and despair. Mordecai, upon learning of the decree, was devastated. He tore his clothes, put on sackcloth and ashes, and went into the city, wailing loudly and bitterly. His public display of mourning was a cry for help, signaling the severity of the crisis to the Jewish people and to Esther, who was now their only hope. Mordecai's plea reached Esther within the palace. He urged her to use her position as queen to intercede with the king and save their people. However, approaching the king without being summoned was a grave risk, punishable by death. Despite the danger, Mordecai's words stirred something deep within Esther. He reminded her that her rise to the throne was not by chance, but for such a time as this. This moment was her divine calling. Esther's response to Mordecai's plea was a testament to her courage and faith. She asked Mordecai to gather all the Jews in Susa to fast for 3 days and nights, abstaining from food and drink. Esther and her maids would do the same. This period of fasting and prayer was a preparation for the daunting task ahead. Esther understood that she needed divine strength and guidance to confront the king and reveal Haman's plot. On the 3rd day, Esther put on her royal robes and stood in the inner court of the palace in front of the king's hall. Her heart must have been pounding, knowing the risks involved. When the king saw her, he was pleased and held out the golden scepter, signaling that she could approach. Esther's bravery paid off. and she invited the king and Haman to a banquet she had prepared, setting the stage for her strategic revelation. Haman, unaware of Esther's true intentions, was elated by the invitation. His confidence and arrogance blinded him to the impending downfall. The banquet was an opportunity for Esther to gauge the situation and prepare for the next steps. She knew that timing was crucial and that she needed to approach the matter with wisdom and tact. The tension within the palace was palpable as the first banquet concluded. Esther invited the king and Haman to a second banquet the following day. Haman's sense of security grew, but so did his hatred for Mordecai, who still refused to bow to him. Haman's wife and friends suggested building a gallows to hang Mordecai, a plan that Haman eagerly set in motion, unaware that his own fate was being sealed. As the day of the second banquet approached, the stage was set for a dramatic confrontation. Esther's courage, combined with divine intervention, would soon turn the tide. How would Esther reveal Haman's plot to the king, and what would be the outcome of this high-stakes encounter? Stay with us as we continue to unravel the epic journey of Esther and the unfolding of divine justice. Esther's strategic wisdom shone through as she invited the king and Haman to a banquet she had prepared. This invitation was a calculated move, designed to create an intimate setting where she could present her case. Esther understood the importance of timing and discretion, and her approach demonstrated both patience and cunning. The first banquet was a chance to gauge the king's mood and to set the stage for the revelation of Haman's plot. Haman, unaware of Esther's true intentions, felt honored by the invitation and believed his position was secure. However, his arrogance blinded him to the danger he was in. Esther's ability to maintain her composure and conceal her distress was a testament to her inner strength and faith. The success of her plan depended on her ability to navigate the palace intrigue with grace and wisdom. At the first banquet, Esther invited the king and Haman to a second banquet the following day. This delay heightened the anticipation and tension, creating an atmosphere ripe for dramatic revelations. Esther's careful planning and patience were crucial in ensuring that the king would be receptive to her plea. She knew that the timing had to be perfect to achieve the desired outcome. During this time, Haman's hatred for Mordecai intensified. Encouraged by his wife and friends, he built a gallows to hang Mordecai, believing that his rise to power was unstoppable. Little did he know that his own downfall was imminent. This twist of fate underscored the biblical mysteries of divine justice and the importance of humility and righteousness. On the day of the second banquet, Esther's moment of truth arrived. As she prepared to reveal Haman's plot to the king, the tension in the palace was at its peak. Her courage and faith had brought her to this critical juncture, and the fate of the Jewish people depended on her next words. Esther's journey from a timid orphan to a bold queen was a testament to the power of divine revelation and the strength that comes from trusting in God. As the banquet began, Esther's composure and resolve were unwavering. The stage was set for a dramatic confrontation that would determine the fate of her people. How would the king react to Esther's revelation? And what would be the consequences for Haman and the Jewish community? Stay with us as we uncover the climactic events of Esther's epic journey and the triumph of courage and faith over evil. The tension in the palace was palpable as Esther prepared for the second banquet. This was the moment of truth, the climax of her carefully orchestrated plan. Esther's courage and wisdom had brought her to this critical point where the fate of the Jewish people rested on her shoulders. As King Xerxes and Haman joined her for the banquet, the stage was set for a dramatic revelation that would change everything. During the banquet, King Xerxes, curious about Esther's request, urged her to speak, With measured grace and composure, Esther revealed her true identity as a Jew and exposed Haman's plot to annihilate her people. She bravely declared that the decree against the Jews was in fact a threat to her own life. The king was stunned and enraged by this revelation. Esther's plea for her people was not just a political appeal, it was a personal cry for justice and survival. The king's reaction was immediate and furious. Realizing he had been manipulated by Haman, Xerxes stormed out into the palace garden in a rage. Haman, now fully aware of his impending doom, was terrified. He stayed behind to beg Queen Esther for his life, throwing himself on her couch in desperation. This scene of Haman's downfall was a stark contrast to his previous arrogance and cruelty. It highlighted the biblical wisdom that pride comes before a fall. When the king returned to the banquet hall, he found Haman pleading with Esther. Misinterpreting the scene, Xerxes believed Haman was assaulting the queen, further fueling his wrath. The king's guards quickly seized Haman. In a dramatic turn of events, one of the king's eunuchs informed Xerxes of the gallows that Haman had built for Mordecai. The king then ordered that Haman be hanged on the very gallows he had prepared for his enemy. This turn of events was a profound example of divine justice and the reversal of evil plans. Haman, who had plotted to destroy the Jews and elevate himself, faced the very fate he intended for others. His execution was a clear message that deceit and malice would not prevail. This moment underscored the theme of divine retribution and the protection of God's people, even when his name was not explicitly mentioned in the text. With Haman's death, the immediate threat to the Jews was removed, but the royal decree for their annihilation still stood. Esther's revelation and Haman's fall had set the stage for the next critical steps. King Xerxes, now fully aware of the situation, sought to right the wrongs that had been set in motion. His trust in Esther and Mordecai grew as he recognized their loyalty and wisdom. Esther's bravery continued to shine as she once again approached the king, this time to plead for the revocation of the deadly decree. Xerxes, moved by her courage and commitment, allowed Esther and Mordecai to draft a new decree that would counteract the previous one. This new decree granted the Jews the right to defend themselves against their enemies, providing them with the means to ensure their survival. Mordecai's rise to power further solidified the protection of the Jewish people. Appointed to a position of great influence, Mordecai was able to implement the new decree effectively. His leadership and strategic thinking were instrumental in mobilizing the Jewish community and preparing them for the impending conflict. The shift in power dynamics, from Haman's tyranny to Mordecai's just leadership, highlighted the biblical story of redemption and the triumph of good over evil. The second banquet and the subsequent events not only marked the downfall of Haman, but also signaled a turning point in the fate of the Jewish people. Esther's unwavering faith and strategic acumen had saved her people from destruction. The narrative of Haman's revelation and fall serves as a timeless lesson in the power of integrity, faith, and divine justice. As we move forward, we will explore the implementation of the new decree and the Jewish people's defense against their enemies. How did they prepare for the conflict, and what were the results of this divine intervention? Stay with us as we continue to unravel the epic journey of Esther and the miraculous salvation of her people. With Haman's downfall and the immediate threat to the Jewish people exposed, Queen Esther and Mordecai faced the critical task of reversing the deadly decree that still hung over their people. Though Haman was dead, the royal edict authorizing the annihilation of the Jews remained in effect, and the clock was ticking towards the designated day of destruction. This moment called for swift and decisive action, rooted in faith and wisdom. Esther's bravery once again came to the forefront as she approached King Xerxes to plead for her people's salvation. The king, now fully aware of the gravity of the situation, was receptive to Esther's request. He granted her and Mordecai the authority to draft a new decree that would counteract the one previously issued by Haman. This act of empowerment highlighted the king's trust in Esther and Mordecai and his commitment to justice. Mordecai, now in a position of great influence, took the lead in drafting the new decree. The decree allowed the Jews to defend themselves against any who would attack them on the appointed day. This legal provision was crucial in ensuring that the Jewish people had the right and means to protect their lives and families. It was a profound example of divine intervention, where God's providence provided a way for his people to overcome their enemies. The new decree was swiftly disseminated throughout the empire, reaching every province and city. The Jewish community, initially gripped by fear and despair, was filled with hope and determination. The decree's announcement was a turning point, transforming their outlook from one of impending doom to one of empowered resilience. The Jewish people began to prepare for the upcoming conflict, fortified by the knowledge that they were legally justified in their defense. Mordecai's leadership during this critical time was instrumental. He organized the Jewish community, ensuring that they were well prepared for the day of conflict. His strategic thinking and unwavering faith were pivotal in mobilizing the Jews, encouraging them to stand firm and trust in God's protection. Mordecai's rise to power was not just a personal victory, but a significant turning point for the entire Jewish community. The day of the appointed conflict arrived, and the Jews across the empire stood ready to defend themselves. The enemies who had hoped to destroy them were met with fierce resistance. The Jewish people, united in their cause and strengthened by their faith, overcame their adversaries. The victory was a testament to their courage, resilience, and the divine protection that had guided them through the crisis. The triumph of the Jewish people was celebrated with great joy and relief. The immediate threat had been averted, and their survival was secured. Mordecai's influence continued to grow, and he was honored throughout the empire for his wisdom and leadership. The celebration of their deliverance was marked by the institution of the festival of Purim, a joyous commemoration of the salvation and courage of Esther and her people. Purim became a time for feasting, giving gifts, and helping the poor, reflecting the spirit of unity and gratitude that characterized the Jewish community's response to their deliverance. The festival served as a lasting reminder of the events that had transpired and the divine intervention that had saved them. It was a celebration of faith, courage, and the unwavering belief in God's promises and protection. The story of Esther, from her rise to queen to the salvation of her people, is a powerful narrative of faith and divine providence. It illustrates how one individual's courage and wisdom can change the course of history. Esther's willingness to risk her life for her people, combined with Mordecai's strategic acumen, exemplifies the biblical mysteries of divine revelation and the importance of trust and wisdom in times of crisis. As we reflect on the epic journey of Esther, we are reminded of the timeless lessons her story imparts. The importance of standing up for justice, the power of faith, and the impact of divine intervention are themes that resonate through the ages. The festival of Purim continues to celebrate these principles, honoring the legacy of Esther and the miraculous salvation of her people. As we reflect on the profound insights shared in this exploration, it is evident that Solomon's warnings are as relevant today as they were in ancient times. Recognizing the signs of untrustworthy and immoral women, as described by Solomon, is crucial for maintaining healthy and fulfilling relationships. His wisdom emphasizes the importance of integrity, moral fortitude, and spiritual alignment in our interactions. Living a life focused on God's teachings and understanding the profound impact of character in relationships are crucial steps in navigating these complex dynamics. Solomon's wisdom encourages us to prioritize inner virtues over external appearances, ensuring that our relationships are built on trust and respect. By embracing these principles, we can avoid the pitfalls of deceit and immorality and build connections that lead to mutual growth and spiritual fulfillment. Believers are encouraged to stay grounded in God's word, engage in regular prayer, and participate in a supportive faith community. These practices will provide the strength and wisdom needed to face the trials ahead. Remember, true beauty and value are found in the heart, and a life aligned with divine principles is one of true fulfillment. As you reflect on these themes, consider how you can apply them in your daily life. Are there areas where you need to strengthen your discernment or deepen your spiritual practices? How can you support and encourage fellow believers in their spiritual journey? Engage with these questions and let them guide you in your walk with God. Check out our ebook, 30 Habits to Draw Closer to God, in the comments. This practical guide will help you strengthen your connection with God in a meaningful and lasting way. Imagine adopting habits that transform your routine and enrich your spiritual life, living each day in alignment with divine teachings. Join those who are experiencing a fuller and more rewarding life through simple yet powerful habits. Start your journey toward a deeper connection with God today. You've just uncovered some incredible insights about Solomon's warnings, but there's so much more to explore. Each episode on our channel is a doorway to unfathomable mysteries and truths that defy time. If you've been surprised today, imagine what else is waiting for you. Don't miss the chance to be part of our community, where every video is a new discovery. Like, comment and share, because every interaction helps us bring you even more fascinating content. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. You don't want to miss out on what's coming next. Join us in the ongoing quest for knowledge and the most amazing stories that humanity has to offer. Until the next video, where more secrets will be revealed.